ABC 12 News at 11. Next.
Family and friends are mourning a young life taken too soon by gun violence. Jennifer Prophet in Mount Morris Township will show you their story coming up.
In the months ahead, there will be more contentious debate.
The battle over your money will take the president to the Capitol this week to meet with party leaders. But can Obama break the gridlock? Michigan's Big Ten championship dreams came down to this. Did it drop in or did they drop the ball?
This is your trusted source. ABC 12 News at 11.
A mother in agony, grieving the loss of her son killed this weekend. Good evening, I'm Angela Brown. 21-year-old Leventez Phillips was shot and killed yesterday afternoon. The shooting happened at a home in the 5000 block of Nassau Street in Mount Morris Township. ABC 12's Jennifer Prophet spent some time with the family this afternoon. She joins us in the studio with their story.
Angela, Leventez comes from a big family. He's one of 10 children. They're leaning on each other in this time of unspeakable personal tragedy.
Hearts be lonely.
Hearts are broken after losing a brother, son, and father. Leventez Phipps was shot and killed at this house on Saturday. His family gathered here at this same home to celebrate his short life.
And it just hurt. It hurt so bad, words can't even explain it. It feel like somebody took your heart right out of your chest.
Manshia is holding his baby boy. Leventez's father remembers when he was that small.
Oh, I can remember when the day was born. He smiled, always kept a good smile on his face.
And that's how family remembers him. Funny, happy, and he was passionate about music. They lovingly nicknamed him Deucey and say he made friends wherever he went.
Everybody loved Deucey. All the little kids in the neighborhood, he had a name for everybody. If you beg from him, your name Begging Betty.
Leventez would have celebrated his 22nd birthday next month. His family is holding close to each other to get through this.
We have a praying family. And we know when praises go up, blessings come down, and we praying.
Now here's a picture of the person police were searching for yesterday in connection to this shooting. He is 17-year-old Darshan Demond. Police arrested him last night, but he has not been charged. He is a person of interest. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you more as soon as we can. In the studio, Jennifer Prophet, ABC 12 News.
We are now moving to Gladwin County, where a man is dead and his relative is in jail after a snowmobile accident. The Sheriff's Department says a 51-year-old man on his snowmobile collided with a vehicle on Seacourt Lake. The 60-year-old man driving the vehicle was arrested. He was charged with operating while intoxicated, causing death. The accident happened last night just before 6:30. The Sheriff's Department says both men are from Midland County. Their names have not been released. 2 other men were killed this weekend in separate snowmobile crashes. Both happened Friday in Cherry Grove Township in Wexford County, that's near Cadillac. The men killed were 51 and 61. They struck trees along backwoods trails.
And it's a wet night across mid-Michigan with scattered moderate to heavy rain. ABC 12 First Alert HD Doppler radar showing that area shaded in yellow and even a little bit into orange. And as we zoom on in, it extends from portions of Saginaw County just north of Chesaning back towards Jonesfield and up towards Midland, and then farther north up just now east of Clare and extending to just south of Grayling. Current temperatures still extremely mild. 43 in Saginaw, 55 in Flint. Keep in mind 41 is normal for this time of year for the daytime high. And on the northern edge, it's not rain, it's snow. Moderate to heavier snow from Marquette, Munising, and Grand Marais, where winter storm warnings continue overnight on into Monday, maybe as much as 10 to 12 inches in some locations across the Upper Peninsula. A little closer to home across mid-Michigan, we'll give it a C for the school bell weather. Readings in the 40s to maybe near 50 south, and just wet and mild conditions with a breezy, a little bit of that southerly wind kicking up at times as well. Coming up, we'll let you know if that rain transitions over to snow and talk about some colder changes ahead of St. Patrick's Day coming up.
The sequester strikes again. This time, 6 air traffic control towers in Michigan are casualties. The Federal Aviation Administration says they have to cut $600 million because of the sequester, so they're closing over 200 towers nationwide. Towers in Ann Arbor and the Coleman A. Young Airport in Detroit are on that list.
President Obama speaks of his deep concern for struggling Americans, yet his plans are focused on growing government, not the economy.
Strong words from the GOP in this week's address to the nation. Republicans and Democrats continue to blame each other for the sequester, but can the president break the gridlock? In the president's weekly address to the nation, he says that he will visit both parties this week at the Capitol. This comes just days after he had lunch with a dozen Republican leaders to discuss the budget.
It won't be easy. In the months ahead, there will be more contentious debate and honest disagreement between principled people who want what's best for this country. But I still believe that compromise is possible. I still believe we can come together to do big things. And I know there are leaders on the other side of the aisle who share that belief.
The Republicans say they welcome the president's visit, but they will not rush too quickly into a deal.
I believe any time that both parties are talking, it's a good thing. Now, this should have happened 4 years ago. I'm glad it's happening now. But is this about politics or is this genuine?
The meetings are expected to take place this week, just ahead of the March 27th deadline to avoid a government shutdown that's followed by another round of debt ceiling debates. A Saginaw area lawmaker wants to stop dead people from collecting food stamps. Republican Representative Tim Kelly is backing a bill that would require the state to check the Social Security Index once a month. That way, the state can find out if any bridge card recipients have died. A committee approved the bill last week and now moves to the full House. Kelly calls the legislation a common sense way. A local actor makes the jump from mid-Michigan to Oz. A Flint Township woman snagged a role in Oz the Great and Powerful, which is #1 at the box office this weekend, earning $80 million. The film was made entirely right here in Michigan, which helped Jasmine Lassiter get a small part in the film.
I feel like I'm a part of history now because they were remembered for a long time afterwards, even though they had just a dancing part. You know, people remembered them as the Munchkins forever. So I feel like, you know, I made history. I'm one of the legendary Munchkins.
It cost around $200 million to make that film. A lot of that money was spent right here in Michigan.
And people need to be responsible before they get in any type of vehicle.
Just a heartbreaking story here. Many teens are killed in a crash in Ohio. We'll have the tragic details next. Plus, a man has spent over 550 days traveling the world all on his bike. After the break, we'll show you where he's been.
You're watching ABC 12 News at 11 with Angela Brown, meteorologist Kevin Goff, and Ryan Slocum with sports. ABC 12 News, your trusted source.
ABC 12 News at 11 is brought to you by Patsy Lou.
The heart goes out, you know, because don't nobody ever want to lose a kid, you know? Don't nobody want to lose their kid.
Just a terrible story that happened in a small town in Ohio this weekend. 6 teens are dead and 2 others injured after the driver lost control. Police say all 8 passengers were in the SUV when it hit a guardrail and flipped into a swamp. 2 of the passengers were able to escape, but the 6 others were not so fortunate. Police do believe that speed was a factor in this crash. Topping World Watch tonight. Have you ever wanted to travel the globe? Well, you're about to meet one man who set out on that mission on his bicycle. Patricia Rue reports that after 550 days of riding, he's halfway there.
Rob Lutter is on the adventure of a lifetime, a bicycle ride around the world.
I'm in the middle of Himalayas and it's totally beautiful.
The British photographer and writer left London in September of 2011. 550 days later, he's just arrived here in Hong Kong, cycling more than 15,000 kilometers across 21 countries. Lutter is raising money for WaterAid and a British mental health charity. And while he's on the road alone with little more than his bike, a tent, iPhone, and a camera, thousands of people are following his progress online on sites like Twitter and Instagram. as he pedals up mountains, through snow and ice, and across scorching hot deserts. Lutter says he's battled snakes, scorpions, wild dogs, and more than 24 flat tires. But he's also seen some of the most beautiful and remote corners of the world.
I've made it to the Himalayas, and I want to try and make it all the way back around to London.
And this is only the halfway point of his journey.
In weather today, well, it felt more like spring than the end of winter. Look at these numbers. No records, but close to it in Flint. We have to reach the middle 60s to break any records. 60 in Flint, 51 in the Tries, and almost 41. Even the lows are unseasonably mild and just a little bit of rain, most of it to our north and west. But the rain is on its way. In fact, it's already falling across parts of mid-Michigan. I'll show you where and how it could affect your Monday morning commute after the break.